It seems very clear to me that the Republican Party and Donald Trump have a division problem, right? There are a lot of Republicans in the party and these kind of moderate Republicans, these conservatives, who do not like Donald Trump. They do not like him. They will not vote for him. We're seeing this in, different Republican politicians saying that they will not endorse him, whether they're, former Trump administration officials, whether they're members of Congress or former members of Congress. But also we're seeing this in real life election data, right? There are a lot of people in these primaries around the country not voting for Donald Trump or voting for candidates like Nikki Haley who have already dropped out of the race. That's how much they do not like Donald Trump. And that's why I'm really happy to show you this clip I have for you today of President Biden and Bernie uniting to take down Donald Trump in this video. And it shows you that, the Democratic Party has some problems in it, but the division problem is far worse in the Republican Party. And we, on the Democratic side, are able to put aside our differences to address the threat of Donald Trump. So I'm going to show you that Biden and Bernie video in a second here. And then later in the video, we're going to talk about, the real life consequences for Trump and his campaign on the division topic, because it's really showing up in elections and it's becoming a big problem for them in fundraising, in getting votes for their primary campaign and eventually a general. It's becoming a massive headache for them. But here is that video of Biden and Bernie right now. Check it out.
Because you are all people that have a lot of money. I know 20 of you, and you're rich as hell. We're going to give you tax cuts. We're going to pay off our debt.
That's everything you need to know about Donald Trump. When he thinks the cameras aren't on, he tells his rich friends, quote, "We're going to give you tax cuts."
Can anybody in America imagine that at a time of massive income and wealth inequality, billionaires are doing phenomenally well, that he's going to give them huge tax breaks? And then at the same time, he's going to cut Social Security and Medicare and programs that our kids need.
This is his economic plan? That's what he wants to do? Cutting taxes for his friends? Cutting Social Security for you? That makes me mad as hell, quite frankly.
The hypocrisy is just outrageous. This is what he says to his billionaire friends, not quite what he's saying at his rallies.
There are 1,000 billionaires in America, in this country. They pay an average tax rate of 8.2% federal taxes. So I have a plan, we have a plan, asking his good buddies to begin to pay their fair share.
You have one candidate who wants to cut Medicare and Social Security and one who's going to protect it. That's why I'm supporting Joe, and I hope you will as well.
Thanks, pal.
Yeah, what a great collaboration and a great idea by the Biden campaign and the Biden White House. It's kind of bringing two different wings of the Democratic Party together. Bernie Sanders is more progressive. Joe Biden is more moderate, kind of like a liberal Democrat. But we can all put aside our differences and realize that it's more important to beat Donald Trump than beat up on each other for the small differences that we have on the left. And that video kind of really embodies that. So I'm really great to see and really happy to see it, And aside from the politics of it all, they're also right. Donald Trump is behind the scenes telling his wealthy donors that if he wins again in 2024, he's just going to give them more cash, right? He's going to give them another tax cut. And, apparently Jeff Bezos needs another yacht, right? Or Bill Gates needs another house. That's what Donald Trump is doing. But in public, he's pretending to say, like, I care about workers or the middle class. We all know he doesn't. And we also saw his presidency, right? He only cared about wealthy people in his presidency. And, Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders are on the side of the working American, the hardworking American, the union American. And the difference couldn't be more clear between these two men and the Biden campaign and Trump and his presidency and his campaign. And I also really love the format that they went with here, kind of giving Biden and Bernie the iPad and getting a raw reaction as opposed to like a sit-down scripted video. Those videos are still great, but, it really shows you the normalness of Bernie and Biden in this video. They're not just like these politicians like on the Republican side who will do and say whatever. They actually have thoughts and feelings about these issues and think deeply about them, as opposed to Donald Trump, who, taxes for the wealthy or hardworking Americans are a passing thought for him. He doesn't really care, But as I mentioned earlier in the video, like, this shows to me that the Democratic Party is far more united behind Joe Biden than the Republican Party is with Donald Trump. And as I also said, we're seeing this in actual Republican politicians like Mike Pence, former vice president to Donald Trump, recently said on Fox News that he will not be endorsing his former boss, right? And you have this long list of former Trump administration officials, former Bush administration officials, lifelong Republicans, all saying that they will not endorse Donald Trump. And Mike Pence is obviously almost top of that list because, it's unprecedented for a vice president to not endorse his former boss, especially in modern American politics. But it's really showing its head now in the Republican Party, not only from the politician standpoint, but also the results standpoint. These primary elections that are happening around the country, Joe Biden is doing significantly better with his party than Donald Trump is with his. Like, first and foremost, the fundraising problem is certainly an issue. Just take a look at this. Like, in February 2024, Nikki Haley's suspended campaign had more cash on hand in February than the entire RNC, right? So Nikki Haley has more cash than the RNC in February. And, Donald Trump is still lagging behind in fundraising. He's still not putting up the numbers that the Trump campaign had promised or said that they were going to do, or, kind of projected. And obviously we know that they lie all the time, so those projections were probably lies, but that's just a funny statistic aside from the actual results. But, let's just take a look at a primary state here that's happened in recent weeks and months. And let's start in the great state of Wisconsin. So as you can see on the results on your screen, Donald Trump in the recent Wisconsin Republican primary got 476,000 votes, or 79.2% of the vote. Nikki Haley got 12.8, Ron DeSantis 3.3, and then the other candidates added up to make the difference between Donald Trump's result and the 100%, obviously. And, Donald Trump is kind of the incumbent, quote-unquote, candidate for the Republican Party, the former president running for another term. And he has 21% of people in a swing state in his own party not voting for him, right? That's a bad sign for Donald Trump and the Republican Party. When you're in a swing state especially, and this kind of close to the election, and you're not united behind your guy, that's a problem. And you're not raising money like you'd like to. You have a variety of different issues with legal cases, civil cases, whatever, and you're not united, that spells some danger. But then on the other side of things, we have President Biden and his campaign, and here's their result in the great state of Wisconsin. So not only did Biden receive more votes than Donald Trump, but he also received a higher percentage of the Democratic Party's vote, around at 88.6%. That's a huge difference in a swing state like Wisconsin. Biden did better in the suburbs than Donald Trump. He did better in the entire state than Donald Trump. He did better in his own party than Donald Trump. And, for all the people out there, the media pundits who said that there was so much division in the Democratic Party, where? It's not with us. I'm 21 years old. I'm united behind Joe Biden. I'm excited to vote for him in November. The Republican Party, on the other hand, their guy's not breaking 80%. In a lot of these states, 75%, even 70% in some of these states when Nikki Haley was in the race. This is some bad news for the Trump campaign and great news for the Biden campaign. And this is not the only state that this is happening in. Let's go to the great state of New York. Donald Trump's original home state. Thank God he's gone. But in the New York primary, which is, of course, a more liberal state, but, there are still Republicans voting in it. Donald Trump received 131,000 votes, rounding up to 132. He got 82.1% of the vote, so a little bit better than Wisconsin. But, of course, Nikki Haley got 12.9, Chris Christie for flat, and Vivek Ramaswamy won flat as well. So he's still losing around 18% of the vote of the Republican Party in New York. Go over to the Biden campaign in New York. Biden received 276,000 votes and got 91.5% of the vote in New York. So almost a 10% difference for Biden. Where is the division? Where is the division in the Democratic Party? Because I'm not seeing it. We're not seeing it in these results. We're not seeing it in fundraising. We're not seeing it in polling. It seems to me that the Trump campaign has a far bigger division problem than the Biden campaign, and it's not even close. So not only is Biden raising more, but he has more field offices, more campaign staff, doing better in primaries, and you have a variety of Republican voters saying that they will not vote for Donald Trump, and even doing that in primaries. I'd much rather be the Biden campaign right now than the Trump campaign. And so to kind of bring it all together, circle back, This is why I think these collaborations are so important, and this video is such a must-see for all of us in the Democratic Party, because it shows you that, the Biden campaign is not just staying in their bubble, right? They want to win votes. They want to bring people along with them and bring them into the campaign and make them feel welcome, right? Biden is even reaching out to Nikki Haley voters with specific ads targeting those groups of people, saying, come on over, we'll welcome you with open arms, which is a great strategy because many Nikki Haley voters have indicated that they will be voting for Joe Biden in the fall. But, Joe Biden's also reaching out to members of his own party and kind of prominent figures on that wing of the party saying, hey, you guys are also welcome in this campaign. This is not a only moderate Democrat liberal campaign. That's not what we're running here. We're running a campaign for everyone, every background, and any political ideology that wants to join us. And I think it's such a great strategy. And I'm so happy that I got the opportunity to show you folks today. And also, of course, add this much deeper context to the fact that Donald Trump is just not doing that well in results. And, obviously his campaign operation is just kind of garbage right now. So anyway, folks, that's going to wrap up the video for today. I really appreciate you watching. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes such a long way. Also, of course, like the video, comment, let me know what you think, and share the video with anybody you think needs to see it. And as I always say at the end of these videos, if we persevere, we work hard, we will beat Donald Trump in 2024 and give Biden a second term.